Welcome to all those who are keeping an eye on what's happening on this channel. This is Minett Lawrence. I'm so pleased to be able to share with you the plans that we have for the current season. The producer and I have been hard at work, and I must say thank you to producer Lowell Lawrence, my partner and friend, who has spent almost as much time as I have preparing for this moment. Well, really, he has spent a little more time because he has worked hard on getting the studio ready. So we are currently hosting the Morning Connection on Best 100 FM. We are on air Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And in those 4 hours, we spend time first imparting what knowledge and information we can to our listeners. And it is our firm commitment to help with self-empowerment and to promote activism at the community level and in the home. Well, I must say thank you to all those who have supported us in the 3 months that we've been on air. We are now looking to do a little bit of rebranding and to move the show to a different time slot where it can claim a wider audience both locally and internationally. So stay tuned to this channel. You will hear more about it. We are planning to give the show a different name because we can't keep saying Morning Connection if we are no longer on air or broadcasting in the morning. So we're looking at a new name, new profile, and hopefully a much wider, broader based audience for what it is that we are sharing. We're people who are committed to seeing prosperity, growth, and self-empowerment, not just in people of color, people looking like us, but just all across the board, people who are committed to seeing certain values expressed in their lives and in their communities. We believe that the kingdom of God is real. We believe that it is at hand. We certainly have experienced the abundant life that it promises, and we want to share the keys which have worked so well for us. On this channel, I will also share some of the books and the other influences, music, food. I'm very big on sharing information about food. I will share some of that with you. I am currently, I've just cracked the first page of this book. It is Cast, written by Isabel Wilkerson. She's an American woman of color who has lectured both in the US and internationally. And as the name of the book suggests, she's looking at the ways in which society is separated into different tribes or castes, which tends to limit our opportunities for growth. This book was given to me by a very dear friend, business partner, and fellow sufferer, Mr. Neil. Mr. Neil was the partner who built the telecommunications business Carousel in Jamaica with myself and Lowell. And we all experienced the great pain of rejection and how the destabilization of the company to the point where the government came into our buildings, ripped out the equipment, and shut the business down with a stamp of finality that really can only be reversed by God. So I'm just about to read the book Cast, and it's timely too, because I got this as a Christmas gift in 2020. And I delayed reading it sometimes, and you no doubt have discovered this in your own experience. You are only ready to consume certain information when it is time for you to apply it to your circumstances. This book, though it is very well written and it's written in a very entertaining style, given the reviews, it is a New York Times bestseller. It made Oprah's book club list of 2020. Although it is very well written, and it is written with an eye to entertain as well as to inform, the subject matter was far too emotional for me to read it at the time that I got it, because the wounds were too fresh. We had been talking a lot about that ceiling which Black people in Jamaica and elsewhere don't seem to exceed with great ease. So we had set our marks on accomplishing something with our business, and it was rejected in the most painful and humiliating way. Members of our team were characterized as criminals, and our fit and proper standing was called into question after we had spent millions of hard currency setting up our business. And ultimately, both the judicial system, the law enforcement system, and the political system in terms of the executives in government, all of them were punitive in their treatment of our company. In the final days, my husband and I, Mr. Neil's wife, and another director of a company that we had done business with, were arrested by the police and taken before the courts on a charge of broadcasting without a license. Now, the license which we had is perhaps the most well-publicized license in the history of telecoms in Jamaica, because it was done amidst a lot of fanfare and protest, and our payment for the license was watched like a hawk by everyone who was keeping an eye on the matter. So for us to have been brought before the courts for broadcasting without a license, it's such an obvious travesty of justice that, you know, you can see where it's going, but in the meantime we have had to suffer the ordeal. So when I first got the book, I did not seek to read it, because I felt as if I had bumped my head against the ceiling of my caste, and it was still too painful. I'm ready to read it now, because if you've been following our journey on the Morning Connection, you would see that we have been spending some time talking about change. We've talked about the role of struggle and tribulation in accomplishing change, and we've been talking a lot about legal reform and constitutional reform. A lot of the ways in which citizens are terrorized and inhibited by their own governments come out of the inadequacies of the Constitution and the legal framework in which business is done and through which society is organized. And so we feel that those of us who have suffered against those limitations, we need to advocate for change. So I think the time is right. If you're in Jamaica at this moment, you would be excited to hear the many voices that are raising up to say enough, to say we must change things, to say this is not right, this is not working for us. There are many voices crying out for change to take place now, so that we can provide a more secure future for our children. We are understanding the ill effects of globalization in as much as we are enjoying the benefits of it. And like every other society, we want to take off the best and reject what doesn't work for us. We are still global citizens. Jamaicans travel a lot. There are more of us outside of Jamaica right now than there are within Jamaica, because the population is still just shy of 3 million. So that's a small population as things go. But we feel that our impact is large, and we are using every platform to get our message to the world. This is just one of them. So please stay tuned to the channel and join me on the days when I am broadcasting. You will know, because you will have subscribed to the channel and you're keeping on a watch on all things happening on Best 100 FM. Simply the best.